One of the reasons President Trump's support among non-college voters, a group that helped put him in the White House, is collapsing. That's huge. I mean, I can't tell you how huge that is. That's according to a CNN analyst, which points out that in 2024, the president held a 14-point advantage in this group over Kamala Harris. He's now underwater by 9 points. That's a 23-point swing away from Donald Trump and the Republican Party. One of the most important parts, of course, of their coalition. With us now, let's bring the founder and the director of the Center for Politics at the University of Virginia, Larry Sabato. You know, Larry, I remember back reading an article after I got elected way back in 1994, a shocking number. It said working families making under $30,000. We Republicans in 94 won that group. And I was like, what in the world's going on here? I would think they'd all be Union Democrats. And then I saw a stat, 2024. Kamala Harris lost families making less than $50,000. Working families have been moving towards Republicans, as you know better than anybody, for 30 years, maybe even 40 years. Talk about how significant. As somebody that studied this so closely through the years, when you see numbers like that about working Americans moving away from Donald Trump and Republicans, talk about what you see there, the warning signs.
Well, the warning signs have been flashing, as you said, Joe, for decades. And actually, I take it back to the 60s and 70s. That's really when social issues, cultural issues began to cleave working class Americans from the Democratic Party. Now, they came back at various points, but once you cleave a group from a party, it's easier to get them to do it a second time and a third time and a fourth time. And before you know it, they are regularly voting for the party they used to hate. And that has happened with white working class voters, non-college voters. We used to call them blue-collar voters, but we switched to white non-college. And particularly white non-college males. They are much more likely to vote for Republicans and for Trump than are white non-college females.
Yeah, I mean, that was the base of my support in 94, the base of Republican support. It's the base of Donald Trump's support in 16, 20, and 24. And again, so that's why this change is so dramatic. You know, you're talking about how far it goes back. I remember there's there's sort of this famous defining moment where there were protesters protesting the war down on Wall Street. And they started to try to burn the American flag. And union members, strongest part of the Democratic coalition, started, fighting to get the flag and put it out. They put it out, raised it up, and everybody cheered. And that really sort of reflects what you're talking about, isn't it? This is something that's been going on, again, late 60s, early 1970s. So a break in 2026 like this is really something.
It is. Of course, it's February, and voting starts late September and accelerates November. So you never know what's going to happen. I remember that well. That was actually after Nixon had taken office. That was in Nixon's first year. And it was very dramatic. And you're right. It's the cultural issues, the social issues that first cleave this group from Democrats. But the economic issues are being added on top or as a foundational part of this. Prices did not come down as Trump promised. It did on some items, but on most items it's going up. Jobs have been disappearing in key parts of the economy that blue collars depend upon. So things aren't going well, and people react to real conditions, and it always starts with the economy, but you also have to look at the cultural side of it. And I'm not sure that working class whites are going to be voting Democratic in substantial numbers. If Democrats can just come close to splitting them with Republicans, they will win a substantial majority in the House. They'll also benefit if they are conflicted enough, that is, the white non-college voters are conflicted enough not to show up. And that often happens in midterm elections. You don't have the draw of the presidential race. I think it's especially true this year because Trump is not on the ballot.
Yeah, certainly the election will be about Trump, even if he's not on the ballot himself, though. We know turnout's different when he's not. Professor Sabato, let's go a little even further ahead. And again, these are early days. These are not asking you to make predictions per se, but it does raise some questions about what the future of the Republican coalition looks like. That what the combination of voters that Trump brought to the table pretty unique to him. And there's a thought that he's a singular figure. We're already seeing Vice President Vance and a few others try to take some careful steps out there to say, like, okay, what could my own coalition be? How much do you think things will look, how much will the Republican base of voters look differently in 2028?
If I knew one number, I could give you a definitive answer. And that one number is Trump's approval rating. It used to be that a president's job approval rating had to be close to 50, if not over 50, for a president to pass along the presidency under decent conditions to his chosen successor in his party. With Trump, it may be somewhat lower because of the turnout factor. He can draw people out, and he may be able to do it for his successor. But I'll tell you, if he remains anywhere close to where he is right now, he's in the 30s. I know there are polls all over the place. You average them out and you toss out the ones that are not reliable. He is in the mid to upper 30s. There's no way his successor can be elected if his job approval rating is anywhere close to where it is right now. And that's why Republicans are in such trouble for November.
We're really grateful to have you on, founder and director of the Center for Politics at the University of Virginia, Larry Sabato. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us this morning. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Mika.
Come back.
Thank you.
All right.